You're watching WTVJ NBC 6, where the news comes first. This is Today in South Florida.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jill Beach. It is 7 o'clock Sunday, September 10th, 1995. Welcome to Today in South Florida, now on NBC 6. Sandra Peebles joins me now with a quick look at our weather. How's it going for our Sunday, Sandra?
Well, it looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to be a little bit drier than what it has been as that upper level low moves on out. And as far as Luis, it's racing on to the northeast, far away from us, so that's good news.
Good news.
I'll have everything coming up.
He's got a travel ticket. Thanks. Well, it is history in the making, and you're all part of it. This is the very first newscast on NBC 6. Just 6 short hours ago, WTVJ moved 2 places up the dial from 4 to 6. Now, just what went into our switch to 6? 6 senior news correspondent Ike Seamans takes us back in time.
Down at the tower in South Dade, engineers were fine-tuning and making last-minute adjustments for the historic change. It was precisely 1 a.m. 0100 when a little switch was pushed to make the big switch reality. Don, what's the countdown?
You want that 104?
Time that out.
I think we're getting close.
Go.
Just like that, NBC 6 was born. A new era in Miami television has begun.
I'll probably never do again, something I've never done before. And of course I was nervous. I mean, I didn't think it would be so hard to take my finger, move it, and actually hit a button. But it went well, and we're all real happy with the way it went. And
it reminded me of the space shuttle. You guys feel like you were doing something of that magnitude?
It feels that way. I guess I'm sure the folks at NASA don't think that, but sure felt that way to me.
It worked.
It worked. It worked out great.
From now on, all of NBC shows will be seen right here on NBC 6, just in time for the new fall season of must-see TV. Shows you've already made #1, like ER, nominated for more Emmys than any other network program, and Seinfeld, Frasier, Courtney Cox and Her Friends, Dateline, and all the other top-rated NBC news shows. And, of course, don't forget all our local news shows and programs also. And the Florida Lottery, South Florida's home, is still with us, right here on the new Channel 6. And in just a few hours, catch the Dolphins against the Patriots, right here on the team's new home.
On the home of the Dolphins, NBC 6.
Our new NBC 6 tower is located down in South Dade, and that means a strong signal if you don't have cable and you live in this area or even into Miami. But if you live in the north part of Dade County and into Broward and you don't have cable, there could be a problem. But we've thought of that too. If you can't get Channel 6 clearly, tune in to Channel 58 in Broward and Dade and Channel 19 in West Broward. This past week, lots of viewers who don't have cable but don't want to miss our shows were getting new and better antennas. It works for Victor Sarter.
Hey, look at that picture. That is perfect.
The future is looking bleak.
Whatever he did the trick.
Okay, one more time. NBC is now on Channel 6. Got it? I thought so. In Miami, Ike Seamans, NBC 6.
Well, as you can see, a lot went into our simple switch to 6. A new look, a new logo, and that's not all. The finishing touches have been put on a giant NBC 6 sign painted on the side of our building here in downtown Miami. Now, we think the sign is just beautiful, but the artist who painted it is just a little attached to his masterpiece.
It's a big sign, and I love it. And when you finish with this sign, I'm going to put it in my house.
Well, some of you may recognize Nelson Eddy. His talents don't end with just the paintbrush. He is also an actor who has appeared on several Latin soap operas. Now, coming up at 9 o'clock, Bryan Norcross and Jennifer Valoppi will join me for a special Switch to 6 special. They'll be on hand to answer all your questions about the switch and how it's affecting your viewing. And if you have any questions at any time about the switch, you can call our toll-free hotline from anywhere in South Florida. That number is 930-NBC6. That's 930-6226. Another big story we are following for you this morning, Hurricane Luis. Right now, the official death toll stands at 16 after Luis ripped through the Caribbean. Tourists are still returning from the hurricane-ravaged area, and they are telling a tale of terror. NBC6's Ed Odell has the story.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Coming up next on a special edition of Today in South Florida here on NBC6. It's been a big day for all of us here at WTVJ. We're going to recap our switch up the dial from 4 to 6.
We'll answer all your questions about the switch and how it affects the way you watch TV.
And we're going to go live across South Florida to see just how our picture looks in living rooms like yours.
This special edition of Today in South Florida on NBC6 is coming up next.
You're watching WTVJ NBC6, where the news comes first. This is Today in South Florida.
Wow, look at that. I'm looking at a monitor here, and instantaneously, there we are. And there I am on Channel 6, NBC6. A new station is born.
That's it. As it happened with that flip, history is made in South Florida. That was 1 a.m. this morning. WTVJ moves to a new home, 2 clicks up the dial to Channel 6. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Jennifer Valoppi.
And I'm Bryan Norcross, and welcome to this special edition of Today in South Florida. We're proud to be part of history this morning. First time this has ever happened, 2 commercial stations flipping positions like this, and we're happy to have you here to share our historic move.
So obviously what we're doing is dedicating this next half hour, or this next hour, excuse me, to you, our viewers. We want to make this switch as easy as possible for you.
Now, most of you are getting a better picture than ever on Channel 6 because you're on cable, and for many of the cable systems in South Florida, we're delivering a new crystal clear signal to those cable systems, so you should have a better picture than ever on cable. But, unfortunately, some of you folks that are not viewing on cable, especially you folks in southern Broward County, northern Dade County, are not getting the picture that you're eventually going to get from us because we're still working on some of the technical improvements that we've been promising.
Yeah, we'll explain more about that in a little bit. We'll take your questions, and we'll try and clear up any problems you have. If you have questions right now, you can start calling us up. This is the number. It is 930-WTVJ. That's 930-9885. It's toll-free throughout South Florida. And pick up the phone, give us a call, and we're going to be addressing your questions in a little bit. But before we take your questions and tell you more about our switch to 6, we want to bring you up to date on all the other stories that are making news this morning.
So let's go on over to Jill Beach now with a look at the headlines. Jill?
That is a quick look at the news and weather. Now let's send it back over to Jennifer and Bryan for more on the switch to 6.
Okay, Jill, thank you. Well, the switch is complete now, and Bryan, as we're just hearing, as we speak on the air right now, many of you who are picking us up on non-cable on Channel 58, the signal is getting better and better and better as we speak.
The engineers are out at the transmitter working right now. We're going to talk about exactly what has transpired here overnight because since we got possession of Channel 6 at 1 o'clock in the morning, our entire engineering crew has been working nonstop to get things up and running because we know a lot of folks that were with us yesterday morning. We told them what to do this morning. Right. They did it, and they tuned in and could not find what they were expecting, and they've been calling us. But as we just found out in the last half hour, they've incrementally improved to Channel 58, so we're going to talk all about that here coming up very shortly.
Yeah, obviously, as we've been mentioning, we want you to be as comfortable about this whole thing as we are, and all the things that you love about WTVJ are with us now on NBC6. The whole thing switched up two notches on the dial. Friends, Seinfeld, of course, the Dolphins debut on NBC6 at 1 o'clock today, so we certainly want to make sure everything's resolved by then, huh?
We still, of course, hear questions about why we would want to make this switch from 4 to 6. Well, simply put, it's a national business deal, not just a South Florida deal, a national business deal between the NBC and the CBS networks, and it ended up affecting the channel positions of the stations they own in South Florida. It was those crazy New York people that did it. But as a result of that, we moved up to 6 at 1 o'clock this morning with this bright, clear picture you folks are seeing on cable. Now, here's our senior correspondent, Ike Seamans, with all the details on how we made that switch to 6.
Really is a historic occasion.
It is.
Nothing like this has ever been done in television before, so it's been kind of fun for us.
Let's address the issue as part of what Ike put together, because he put that together last night. We were hoping to have Channel 19 on the air, but the weather didn't cooperate with us. It was a very stormy morning out there, and it's actually going to take until sometime during this coming week. For you folks in West Broward, especially Weston area, out that way, you'll have a very, very strong signal here in a few days on Channel 19. And as we told you, Channel 58 is in the process process of being brought up to speed here this morning. So as you tune in, you'll see it get better and better. And that, again, that process will take a few days.
But again, as we understand, people are getting a pretty good signal right now.
We're going to go out and, matter of fact, and take a look around and see what kind of signal we're getting.
Exactly. So it's things are working as planned, just a couple of hours behind. Anyway, we know that many of you still do have questions, and we do want to take your phone calls today. So
just ahead, we'll take your calls. Here's the number to reach us. We want to hear from you. We want to know how you're getting us all over South Florida. So please call us, 930-WTVJ. We'll tell you where we are, where we're going to be, and what's going on. We'll talk to you coming back in 2 minutes.
This is the year to be on NBC6.
I know for a fact he's not saying it.
Well, this is certainly the year to be on NBC6. All your favorite WTVJ and NBC shows, including the Dolphins games, are now with us right here on NBC6.
And our move up means different things to different viewers. Now, some of you see us better than ever because of the way we connect with your cable systems, and we will be connecting with more and more of them in this new, modern, high-tech kind of way. And other people are seeing us in another new way, and that's on a new channel or new channels.
Channel 58. And what we want to do is make a stop at somebody's home that's getting us in on Channel 58. Reporter Steve Daniels is out there. What does it look like?
It's actually looking pretty good, Jennifer and Brian. Good morning to you. Actually, we're going to start in here in the Blasucci's home. We're in Cooper City in central Broward County. We were here yesterday morning, showed you how clear the picture is on Channel 6. This is the Channel 6 signal. These folks are ready to watch the game. Dominic, you're parked here on the couch. You're ready for the game at 1 o'clock, huh?
Yes, I am, and I'm glad that it's coming in so clear this morning.
The Channel 6 picture is coming through very clear. They're getting this through the antenna, but we want to show you the Channel 58 signal. There are some of you who live in our viewing area who have been concerned about the Channel 6 signal, and that's why we have gone to great lengths to get the Channel 58 signal put up for you. There's a whole new transmission, a whole new channel, and here in the office of the Blasucci home, you can see Channel 58 is coming in quite clearly. They have just a very, very small antenna up right now, and they're getting Channel 58 quite clearly. They're ready to watch the game either on Channel 6 or Channel 58 here in Cooper City today, so they're feeling pretty good about things. But we do want to tell you that as we walk back in, we'll parade through their house here and come back in and show you the Channel 6 signal again, the engineers, as we've been telling you, are working on that Channel 58 signal. So if you are not getting it as clearly as you would like to at this point in time, just bear with us. We're tweaking it right now, and it should be coming in quite clearly. But again, the Channel 6 signal is looking crystal clear here in Cooper City. We want to show you the areas affected. If you live in an area where you're not getting Channel 6 very clearly, we want to show you that Channel 58, this is the area highlighted on your screen right now. As far south as Kendall and Perrine, through Hialeah and Miami, but especially if you're in the Boca Raton, North Lauderdale area, up to Deerfield Beach, Pompano Beach, that area, you really will be looking for us on Channel 58. If Channel 6 isn't looking too great right now, flick it over to Channel 58 and adjust your antenna a little bit. You should be seeing us pretty well. But here in central Broward, in Cooper City, again, the Channel 58 signal is looking great. And as Brian mentioned to you a little while ago, if you are getting us on cable on Channel 6 in Broward County, you have something great to look forward to because you are on the on-ramp, really, so to speak, of the information superhighway. You are getting us on fiber optic cable now in Broward County on Channel 6, which means you are getting the most high-tech television picture you possibly can. So, again, you're in pretty good shape if you're on cable in Broward County. But as we see here, Brian and Jennifer, it's looking great on Channel 6 here in Cooper City. Channel 58 coming through quite clearly, too. So people, at least in this part of Broward County, don't have much to worry about at this point in time.
Steve, let me ask you a question about the Channel 58 signal out there. First of all, have you seen it improve through the morning since you've been there?
Yeah, it really has, Brian. The engineers, you can tell they are working on it quite vigorously right now. It has been, it goes out for maybe a second and comes back in much more strongly than it was before, but it has been getting increasingly better as the morning goes on. And we understand from our engineers who have been working through the night at the transmission site that they are going to improve that signal through the day today in the hours ahead and in the days ahead. So just bear with us. We're tweaking it, we're improving it, and the Channel 58 signal should be coming through much better as the day progresses here.
Okay, well, thank you, Steve.
Can I ask one more question? You still need?
Absolutely.
What kind of antenna do they have there for 58? Just so folks that are out there trying to tune in 58 this morning as have a point of reference compared to what they might have at home?
It's called a bow tie antenna.
Is it outside the house?
It's an outside the house, little tiny bow tie. I mean, it looks like a coat hanger wrapped around. I mean, it's a very small antenna. It's nothing elaborate. It's not a 25-foot tall antenna or something trying to pull the signal in. So they have a very, very small antenna, and it's bringing in 58 quite well at this point. They have another larger antenna that's bringing in this very clear signal on channel 6 right now. That's just a traditional outdoor antenna on top of the house.
All right, well, that's good to know.
Okay, Steve, thank you. And I guess we should probably explain how this was able to happen, that there was this delay that we weren't anticipating. And basically, we want to bring in our operations manager, Bruce Carter, now to join us. And Bruce, it's my understanding, I know we didn't actually receive the equipment from CBS till 1 o'clock this morning, so we really had no way of knowing what it was going to be like when we got it, did we?
That's right, Jennifer. And I'd like to compare it to if you purchase a house and decide you want to upgrade the kitchen or replace the refrigerator or something. You can't do that till you take possession. We didn't take possession of the equipment till 1 o'clock this morning. Our engineers worked feverishly from then till now to remove the equipment from its location at Channel 6 and move it over to a new tower in Hallandale, which is a little closer to the area that we'd like to serve. So it does take a lot of time and it takes a lot of work.
Can you give us a general overview of what kind of reception people that are picking up, people that are picking us up, excuse me, on Channel 58 this morning, what they're getting? Or was that fairly representative, what Steve showed us?
I think what Steve saw is what we hope and what we will achieve throughout the area we showed on the Broward County map, hopefully within a week, maybe within 2 weeks. But it's probably broadcasting now at approximately 50% of the power level that we'd like to. So as Bryan mentioned, you'll see an increase throughout the day, throughout the week, and eventually we will achieve a very clear picture on 58 for the majority of the people in central and eastern Broward County.
Now, what we want to do, we just put the map up. Maybe you guys could put that map back up again, because we showed this before, and what I'm a little afraid is folks may be out in Pompano or Deerfield or someplace looking at that and go, well, I'm on that map, and I'm trying to get 58 right now, and it's not coming in. Well, two things. First of all, that, as Bruce said, it is operating at significantly less power than it will eventually. So I want you to bear with us there and kind of stick with us and keep trying as the engineers work on it. And secondly, you do need to get good reception on any television off the air, as you know. You may need to put a little outside antenna on it, but stick with us and let us get the power of these things up and running, and then we'll sort of evaluate and we'll help you out to get the best reception you possibly can.
And you know what, Bryan, before we take some phone calls, one of the things we should mention is there is this whole special promotional thing going on with cable right now, and if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the cheapest times to add in additional outlets or to get primary cable or whatever.
There's probably two ways to break it down. Okay, there's a lot of people who have cable. They have cable on one television set. There were a lot of rule changes with the FCC and cable over the last years, and one of the results of that is that you can now have cable installed on your other television sets very inexpensively, and the monthly charge is either minimal, like 25 cents, or it's free. The best thing to do is call 1-800-YES-CABLE. They'll explain to you in your area what the cable deals are, and that certainly helps anyone who already has cable. And if you don't have cable, by far the best picture we will be able to deliver, and any television station can deliver, is via cable. And in this, we are a little further ahead than the other stations because, as we've mentioned throughout the day, the picture we're delivering to the cable companies is a direct signal. Okay, it's not broadcast, meaning it's not subject to interference before they get it. So it'll be a very clear picture. That's probably one of the best that you'll see.
And according to the way, Bryan, you and I were talking about this before, the way I broke this down, if you're already on cable and you pick up additional outlets, depending on where you live, it ranges anywhere from $11 to $30. And if you've never been wired before, it's $25 to $70, depending on where you live, primarily on the lower end of that scale, to get wired up for cable for the first time. So this is going to be one of the least expensive times to get started, right?
Sure.
So if you're going to do it,
now's the time to do it.
There you go.
All right, we have on the line with us Gus. I'm not sure where you're calling from, Gus, but go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling from Miami, and I just want to know the sports and weather channel phone number.
Right.
If that's going to remain code 4444.
Well, that's a very good question. We've been asking that question. For right now, code 4444 is the code. What do you want to bet it changes to 6666 one of these days soon? But we'll let you know when that's going to happen. For right now, it's 4444. All right?
Okay, we have Richard on the phone now from Pompano.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Richard, go ahead.
I'm calling from Pompano Beach, and I live in a condo on the 5th floor on Sample Road.
Okay.
And we've always had 4 on beautifully. 6 is nothing but snow, and that's where we are.
Okay.
at the present time.
Richard, do you have a cable system that's...
No, we do not. We have an outside antenna for the condo.
Okay, but it's for the whole condominium, correct?
Yes, right.
The first thing I would suggest is you have your building manager contact WTVJ at our 930-NBC6 number.
Yes.
We can put him in contact with our engineering department who can, outline the different scenarios that can help fix the problem. It is a fixable problem. It's not simple because it does involve a whole condominium, but we can do it, and I really suggest you have that manager call us at his earliest convenience.
All right, fine. Thank you very much.
Richard, let me ask you to try something. Do you get channel 33 and 39 up there?
Yes, we do.
Flip over to 58 and just see if you get anything on your TV.
I get a whole bunch of snow.
You still get snow, okay. Well, that may eventually work as well, depending on how they have that building wired. But we'll get it working for you. It's just a matter of getting the right thing in your particular building working.
One question before you go.
Yeah, sure.
If I was to put cable in here, would that help it?
You get perfect picture. You get the best picture of any station, as a matter of fact.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I should point out while we're talking about
They'll make you a deal.
Yeah. Should point out while we're talking about that, I mentioned that if you've never been wired before, the fee is anywhere from $25 to $70. That, of course, is a one-time fee. That's not a regular fee. Basic service, you pay anywhere from $8 to $14 a month in our area, depending on where you live. And if you're getting cable for the first time and you're getting additional outlets, it's anywhere from free to $21 for additional outlets. So
it's really amazingly inexpensive compared to what a lot of folks have in their mind on how much cable costs. So give your cable company a call, 1-800-YES-CABLE, and just check it out at least. You have nothing to lose. The call's free.
And also one of the things we were talking about, a big plus for our NBC6 viewers is you can not only watch us on 6, but you can also hear us on the radio as well. You don't have to miss any of our NBC shows when you're in the car. NBC6 now on the radio. You can tune us in at 87.7 on your FM dial, 87.
It says 87.5 there. I thought it was 87.7 actually.
It's correct. It is 87.7.
It's 87.7. Okay, so that was just a little
Unfortunately, some FM radios won't go that low. Some will, some won't.
Okay, well...
My one in my car won't, but...
Try it out and give us a call.
Yeah, right. All right, what are we going to do here, guys? We're going to go...
break?
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with more of your calls, and we'll continue our TV tour and check on the reception we have around South Florida this morning. There's the number, 930-WTVJ. Give us a call, and we'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to this special edition of NBC6. We want to get to the heart of the problem that's been happening for some of the people that are picking us up on Channel 58 now.
We have Susan Wallace out at the Channel 58 transmitter with the engineering staff to tell us about where we stand right now and what the schedule might be for getting that higher power on Channel 58. Susan?
What a difference the last hour has made. I'll tell you, for people who are dependent upon Channel 58, full power is not expected for some time, but at this point we've just checked in with the engineers here and they are at about 50% of power capacity. What does that mean? It means that people dependent upon 58 are slowly but surely getting us. We've been checking all morning with a gentleman named Joe who lives in Central Broward. An hour ago he had nothing. At this point in time, he has a picture, and that picture is slowly but surely getting more clear. Now, I want to take you into a work in progress. We have some of the most talented engineers who have been on site in this transmitter room for well over the last 24 hours, and slowly but surely, it's coming online. Chief Engineer Paul Russell joins me now. What can you tell me?
Well, we're bringing it up as fast as we can. I can just tell you the move is similar to taking all the wires out of your house, moving it down the blocking, putting them back in about 6 hours. It takes a lot of work. It's taken a lot of people to do it.
Okay, so at this point, we just ask that viewers be patient.
Yes,
and
patience.
There is this monstrous deadline ahead of you. It's called kickoff at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're going to get it as high as we can today and fine-tune it and make it as sharp and sound as good. We've had a lot of problems with the audio portions.
Okay, so in the last hour, you've had encouraging news, though. Cooper City is online, as you heard from Steve Daniels. We've talked to somebody in Central Broward. For the rest of viewers who are looking at us through perhaps a snowstorm at this stage, what do you say? Stand by, just be patient, keep it on 58?
Be patient, keep it on 58. If 58 is your primary receive site, if you've got cable or you've got Channel 6 available, you can do something with an outside antenna that would certainly help you.
All right, let me ask you another $1 million question. Channel 19, what is the status with Channel 19?
Channel 19, I turned it on yesterday. We started to look at the transmitter. Was not happy with the way the transmitter came up. I called the manufacturer last night. I didn't want to put it on the way it looked, so we're going to hold that off the air until this representative can get in here tomorrow. and go through the transmitter and fix it. It's not right. I don't want to put it on the air yet.
Okay, but you have to expect a couple of hitches in a switch of this magnitude, no?
Yes.
All right,
it was
Paul
very disappointing for me.
Okay, I'm sure it was personally. Now, I want you to get back in there because, as I said, we are 3.5 hours and counting to kick off with the Dolphins. But as you hear, Channel 58 is slowly coming online. In West Dade, my husband just told me a few minutes ago, he's seeing it, which is a lot better than he could say this morning, early this morning. So that is the status from the Channel 58 transmitter. Let's throw it back to you, Jennifer and Bryan.
Okay, Susan, thank you. I know that Paul has been up for about 36 hours now, and you know that if there's any way to make this happen completely and efficiently for everybody out there, he's going to make sure that it does. So we're happy to hear that a good portion of you, anyway, are picking us up pretty well loud and clear on 58 right now.
All right, what we do want to hear from you, by the way, is about the sound issue, because we did have earlier word that there was a problem with sound, and Paul just talked about the problem with sound on 58. We would like to hear what the status is of the sound on 58, because the good news is sound is not a problem. You can get sound on your FM radio if the picture's coming in on 58. So we'll talk about that. So somebody call us in and let us know about sound on Channel 58. If you can see us, we want to hear from you about that.
And one of the reasons Tony Segreto isn't out here with us is because he's in New England today. And I understand we have him live up on satellite. Is that correct? Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Jennifer, Bryan, I'm doing spectacular. I mean, this is an absolutely glorious day. By the way, you guys look great to me. I mean, I don't see a problem here. I don't know. Do we look okay to you here?
You look terrific.
Perfect, Tony.
I'll tell you what. It is, Bryan and Jennifer, you and I, we have talked about this at length. I mean, we love the fall, and we could not have picked a more glorious day to play a football game between the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. It's about 55 degrees now. Game time is supposed to be 65 or 70. There is not a cloud in the sky, and we are just so excited to be here today because not only is this a big day, of course, for the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots, but as we have been telling you all morning, the switch has officially happened. We are about, it's about 9:33. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock on NBC6. In fact, Ross Noble, my photographer, you can just pan over here. The Patriot cheerleaders are rehearsing for this game. They expect a sellout crowd. Last week, they only had 97 no-shows. So it is indeed going to be the marquee game of the day, followed by, on NBC6, we have a doubleheader today. What more could you possibly want? Because you have Marino and Bledsoe at 1, then you have Elway and Aikman at 4 o'clock. It is a big day on NBC6 for sports. You've got the Dolphins right here, sports preview at noon, followed by the NFL on NBC, and then the Dolphins. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. We're going to have the Miami Dolphins in their own way tell you about not only NBC6, but 19 and 58. In fact, when we do come back, you're going to have to really pay close attention to Danny Marino as he chants the signals. Jennifer and Bryan, back to you.
Okay, Tony, hey, can you just switch the microphone? I want to see the mic flag. This is our first shot at seeing the new one. See what they look like.
There you go. You've got the 6 right here. You've got the NBC right here.
Cool.
You've got the 6 right here. The NBC right here. I mean, we could be doing this all day. It's like the Rubik's Cube, you know?
Right.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, you could not have picked, I mean, you talk about a perfect day to make this switch. I mean, people up here know about it. They've asked me, how'd the switch go? I said, I got to talk to Jennifer and Bryan. I hear everything's going great so far.
Perfect there. We've been having some thunderstorms here, though, this morning. The weather's been a little different, so enjoy the beautiful weather out there, Tony. We'll see you back here later.
All right, we'll be back. I'll tell you what, we'll take your calls. We're checking in around South Florida. Back with more on our big switch to 6 coming up in just a minute.
Yeah, and also more on the lottery. Stay tuned.
You're watching NBC 6.
Stand by.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the special edition of Today in South Florida here on NBC6. One of the things that we want to point out to everybody and remind them of is that we are still your South Florida lottery station, and the drawings will still be held here just before the 11 o'clock news on Saturday night. And by the way, there was no winner yesterday, so the pot doubles for next week.
That's for next week. Now, we are soliciting your telephone calls this morning because we want to hear from you about how you're getting us this morning. There's the number, 930-WTVJ. And here's the deal. We have a couple calls, one in from Fort Lauderdale and one from Miramar, checking in on Channel 58 saying they're getting a good picture, no problem. But the two ladies that called didn't want to go on the air to tell you that. And we really would like you to call and check us out. A couple of different kinds of people in North Dade and Broward checking out Channel 58. Also, if you flip over, because you're watching us on 6 right now, if you're on cable, how does your picture compare now on Channel 6 on cable compared to what you saw before? Now, we've been telling you that cable systems, where we upgraded the way we delivered the signal to cable systems, so you should be better in most cases, but not all cable systems have switched over yet. So we want to hear from you whether you're good or you're still bad. We want to know if there are any problem spots out there, because we're going to make them good. Everybody's going to get a good picture here. It may take a few days, but we want to know right now where we stand.
And yesterday, Brian, we went and talked about a gentleman, Victor Sartor, who had written us this very kind and charming letter about how he's a big fan of us here at NBC, and he was worried that he wasn't going to be able to get us in clearly on Channel 6. So we went out and tried to help him figure out what he had to do to alleviate his problem. As of yesterday, he was in good shape. We want to go back out there today. Hank Tester is with him and see if he's still in good shape and if it actually worked for real, Hank.
Well, Jennifer, we're all in good shape out here in Coral Gables. We have a great signal coming in. Yeah, Victor did have a problem. That's his antenna on the roof up there, and it wasn't doing the job for him. So he wrote us a letter, and Victor, what'd you tell us?
Well, I told you that I was getting excellent reception on all channels except number 6. And I didn't know if I could do without Tony and Jennifer. So I wrote to see if there was something you could do to tell me what the remedy would be.
And the next step was something like this, right? And
Exactly.
tell us exactly what happened.
Well, the antenna man came out. He had attached this to my existing antenna, and ever since I'm getting a perfect picture.
So you're really in good shape. Well, I'll tell you what, it's working out pretty well. Let me show you something here, Jennifer and Brian. We're going to move on over. Victor, thank you very much. We do live shots, and we do use monitors. This is a television set, which is sitting right in the street in Coral Gables, Florida, with just the little rabbit ears. This is the Channel 6 signal. Other than a little glare that you're getting right now, it is a perfect signal, and I got to tell you, quite frankly, a lot better than the Channel 4 signal in the exact same location that I've worked with for the last 3 years. So, to answer your question, yeah, it is coming in really well here, and if you pan over there, Victor has that unit right there. It's something you can install relatively easy. If it is installed by a cable, make that a antenna person, it could cost you up 75 bucks or so, about 35 bucks for this. The combiner, which is right here, cost about 20 or so, and you can get up on your roof and make the change. Just be sure that you shoot it towards the south. Victor, last words.
It's well worth it to get it a good, clear, accurate picture.
And say hi to Jennifer, will you?
Hello, Jennifer. Enjoy your reporting.
Thank you. Tell Victor thank you for writing us such a nice letter. We appreciate it, and we're glad we were able to help him get this all resolved. Hank, can we ask you a quick question? When you showed us the monitor that was sitting in the street, we saw a big black line across the middle of the monitor.
That's a technical thing that when you shoot a picture of a monitor, you get that line right there. That's the problem with the camera, not at all with this particular set. I can tell you right now, that is an absolute beautiful signal. We have one more test, by the way. Everyone bet that I would blow this, but watch this. This is Hank Tester reporting for NBC6. Back to you guys.
Hank, are you trying to tell me that everybody in Coral Gables doesn't see that black bar across the picture?
That's absolutely correct. I guarantee you that. Take it to the bank.
Okay, Hank, we got this little poll going on around here. Who's going to be the first one to mess up on the NBC6 thing? So obviously it wasn't you yet today.
All right, we have Marlene on the phone from Pompano Beach. Marlene, go ahead. I understand you're seeing us, you're still seeing us on 27, is that right?
Yes, I am. I'm seeing you clear on 27, better on 27 than on 58, and 19's not coming in at all.
Right, 19's not on the air yet because of, if you saw a moment ago, a technical problem with the transmitter. It'll be on in a week or so. But, you know, I'm glad you called, because when we were talking to the gentleman at the condo there in Pompano, we should have told him to try 27. We kind of skipped our mind there.
We did, but if you're on the east side, which I believe you are in Pompano, 27 will probably be better than 19. You know, there's certainly different segments of the county. 19 is for the western segment. 27 is going to be there on the eastern section. If you're getting it there now, that's great, and we hope you continue to watch us there, because that will probably be your best picture.
Well, now, one of the things, Marlene, if you're still there, the Channel 27 signal should be being upgraded as we speak. Are you getting any clearer of a picture today, or is it pretty much the same as 27 used to be?
It's much clearer.
That's good.
Yeah, it's coming in much clearer today.
We've been doing some work on it. The reason we haven't been pushing Channel 27 is because we weren't sure that we were going to have the clear signal on 27. There have been some problems with the Channel 27 signal, so that's why you haven't heard us talking about that. That's going to stay there. That's going to be there, and in fact, anybody up in North Broward, I know a lot of folks in Wilton Manors watch on Channel 27, so that will be there, and it should be getting better with time, and apparently already is better than it has been. Good.
Good to hear that.
Good to know.
Okay. We have a caller from Coral Springs.
Or is it Boca? Is it Boca caller?
Okay, sorry. Okay.
All right, now
everybody's talking to us from 19 different places here. Sorry about that. We're being told 58 is clear in Coral Springs right now, so that's good news to hear.
All right, let's take a break and we'll come back, and we want to talk to you folks in North Broward. Call in and let us know how you're getting this morning, both on cable and not on cable. We'll be back in just a minute.
Stay tuned.